Get on the ground. Now!
This is our house.
I said get down!
We're not resisting.
Get on the ground, now. Simone freezes, key still in the lock. 4 patrol cars box in the driveway, lights cutting red and blue across the lawn. 9:41 p.m. Her sister Alexis stands beside her, hands rising slow, steady, already calm. "This is our house," Simone says. Her voice doesn't shake. "I said get down." The officer's hand rests on his holster. 3 more step out behind him, boxing them in on their own front steps. Across the street, a curtain shifts. Someone is watching. No one comes outside. Alexis doesn't argue. She doesn't cry. She lowers herself slow, eyes locked on the officer's badge number, memorizing it. Before this goes further, comment below and tell me what city you're watching from tonight. Then let's see how far this goes. A phone rises from the sidewalk, recording. The officer doesn't notice. He's too focused on the twins, too sure of what he thinks he sees. "Hands where I can see them," he barks, stepping closer. Simone's hand drifts, slow, toward her jacket pocket. "Don't move," another officer snaps, hand tightening on his weapon. Simone stops. Doesn't blink, doesn't break. "I'm reaching for my ID," she says, slowly. The officer hesitates. Something about the way she said it, steady, rehearsed, unafraid, makes him pause. Behind him, his partner's radio crackles, a name check request going out into the dark. No one on that lawn knows yet what's about to come back. 7:52 p.m. Simone pulls into the driveway, engine ticking as it cools. 12 hours on shift and her shoulders still haven't dropped. Alexis climbs out first, popping the trunk. 2 duffel bags, unmarked, heavy enough to make her arms strain. "Last drop tonight," Alexis says, voice low. Simone nods, grabbing the second bag. Neither of them rushes, neither hides. Across the street, Mrs. Halloway steps onto her porch, arms crossed, eyes locked on the bags. She doesn't wave, she doesn't call out. She just watches. Simone catches the look, holds it a second too long, then turns toward the house. This isn't new, it's happened before. The stares, the silence, the assumptions no one says out loud. Inside, the porch light flickers on automatically, casting a warm glow over the steps. A small comfort after a long day. For a moment it feels like just another night. Bags inside, shoes off, dinner reheated in silence because talking takes energy neither of them has left. Alexis pauses at the door, glancing back once. "You good?" "I'm good," Simone says. But her eyes drift, just briefly, to the curtain across the street, still shifting. Mrs. Halloway hasn't moved. She's still standing there, still watching, phone now rising to her ear. Her voice carries faintly across the quiet street, clipped, urgent, already certain of something neither twin has said. Simone doesn't hear the words, only the tone. By the time the front door clicks shut behind them, the call has already been placed. Neither twin knows it yet, but somewhere, dispatch is already moving. 8:14 p.m. A single patrol car rolls up slow, no siren, lights off. Officer Daniels steps out, hand already resting near his belt before he said a word. "Ma'am, I need you to step away from the door." Simone turns, key still in her hand. "This is our house. We just got home." Daniels doesn't blink. "I got a call about suspicious activity. 2 women, unmarked car, moving bags into a property." "It's our property," Alexis says, calm but firm. "We've lived here 2 years." Daniels doesn't check the address, doesn't ask for proof. He steps closer instead, eyes narrowing like he's already decided something. Across the street, an older man pauses mid-motion, garden hose still running, water pooling near his shoes. He's watched Daniels work this block before. Something about tonight feels different, sharper, faster, less patient than usual. "I'm going to need ID from both of you," Daniels says. "Now." Simone reaches slow, careful, aware of every inch of movement. Alexis stays still, watching Daniel's hand hover near his holster, never quite relaxing. "You always this jumpy on a doorstep call?" Alexis asks quietly. Daniels doesn't answer. His jaw tightens instead. Something in his radio crackles, a routine update he ignores. Then, without waiting for their IDs, Without a clear threat in front of him, Daniels lifts his radio to his mouth. "Dispatch, I need backup at this location. Possible non-compliant subjects." The old man across the street lowers his hose, eyes fixed on the badge number gleaming under the porch light. Backup is already on its way. 8:23 p.m. 3 more patrol cars pull up fast, doors slamming in quick succession. The quiet street isn't quiet anymore. Neighbors step onto porches. A few drift toward the sidewalk, phones already rising. No one crosses onto the lawn. No one says a word. "You match a description," Daniels says, stepping closer, voice louder now that he has backup behind him. "Description of what?" Simone asks. "You still haven't said." Daniels doesn't answer. He glances at the other officers instead, like the question doesn't deserve one. Alexis stands still, arms slightly out from her sides, eyes moving across the growing crowd. She recognizes faces, people they've waved to, borrowed sugar from, waited beside at the bus stop. None of them speak up. Mrs. Halloway watches from her porch, arms still crossed, saying nothing now that it's no longer just her word against theirs. A teenager across the street lifts his phone higher, angling for a clearer shot. "Sir, we live here," Alexis says again, steady despite the growing pressure. "You can check the address." "I'll check everything," Daniels says. "After you're both on your knees." A ripple moves through the small crowd, a sharp intake of breath, someone whispering, no one moving to intervene. Simone's jaw tightens, but her voice stays level. On what grounds? Daniels doesn't answer that either. "Knees now," he repeats, hand resting firm on his belt. The porch light flickers once behind them as Simone and Alexis lower themselves slowly onto their own front lawn, surrounded, watched, and still waiting for someone, anyone, to say something. 8:29 p.m. Kneeling on the cold grass, Simone lifts her chin, voice steady. "I'm going to reach for my identification, slowly." Daniel's hand tightens on his belt. "Do it slow." Alexis speaks at the exact same moment, same measured tone. "We're reaching together, right side." Inner pocket. Daniels glances between them, thrown for half a second by how precise that sounds. Not scared, not rushed, almost rehearsed. The crowd on the sidewalk goes quieter, phones angling closer. Simone's hand moves first, fingers curling toward her jacket. Alexis mirrors her, same pace, same angle, like they've done this before, many times before. One of the backup officers shifts his stance, uneasy. They're moving together. "I see it," Daniels mutters, eyes narrowing. Neither twin breaks eye contact with him. Neither twin's breathing changes. An older neighbor near the sidewalk lowers his phone slightly, brow furrowing. Something about the twins' calm doesn't match the panic he expected to see. "Sir," Simone says quietly, "you can watch every inch of this movement." Daniels hesitates, jaw tight, hand still resting on his weapon. Then, finally, a small nod. "Slow," he repeats. "Real slow." Simone's fingers reach the edge of her pocket. Alexis's hand mirrors hers, perfectly in sync, both pausing at the exact same second before going any further. Daniel's eyes flick to the fabric shifting under Simone's jacket, something rigid beneath the surface, something that doesn't belong to an ordinary evening at home. His grip on his weapon doesn't loosen. Neither does his stare. 8:31 p.m. Simone's fingers barely touch the edge of her pocket before Daniels snaps. "Cuff them now, for safety." "Sir, we haven't even reached the ID yet," Alexis says, voice tight but controlled. "Doesn't matter," Daniels motions to the officer beside him. "Cuff them both." A younger officer, barely out of the academy, hesitates. "They're complying, sir. Slow, like you said." "I said cuff them," Daniels repeats, sharper this time. The young officer glances at Simone, then at Alexis, uncertainty flashing across his face. For a second it looks like he might not move. Daniel steps forward himself instead, grabbing Alexis's wrist before she can react. "This isn't right," someone in the crowd murmurs, just loud enough to carry. But no one steps forward. Metal clicks around Alexis's wrists, cold and sudden. She doesn't flinch, doesn't pull away. Her eyes stay locked on Daniels, sharp and unreadable. "Hands behind your back," another officer orders Simone, pressing her shoulder down toward the grass. Simone lowers herself without resistance, jaw tight, breathing even. The young officer finally steps back, Phone in his own pocket now, thumb hovering near the record button he doesn't press. Across the street, the teenager's phone catches every second. Cuffs, silence, twins lowered onto the lawn they own. Alexis exhales slow. "You'll want to remember this moment, Officer Daniels." He doesn't answer. He's already reaching for his radio again, calling in a name check neither twin seems worried about. Somewhere in that request, something is about to come back that he isn't ready for. 8:34 p.m. As Alexis shifts on the grass, her jacket collar slips, revealing the edge of a lanyard, plain, unmarked, tucked close to her chest. Daniels's eyes catch it instantly. "What's that?" Alexis doesn't answer. She doesn't need to. He crouches slightly, studying the fabric, something flickering across his face. Not fear yet, just the first thread of doubt. His radio crackles. "Dispatch to Unit 14, name check coming through." Daniels straightens, adjusting his grip on the radio. "Go ahead." Static hums for a beat too long. "Unit 14, the dispatcher says, voice suddenly careful. "That check is restricted. Advise supervisor response." Daniels frowns. "Restricted how?" No answer comes. He tries again. "Dispatch, say again. Restricted how?" Silence stretches, longer this time. The young officer beside him shifts his weight, glancing at Alexis, then at the lanyard barely visible beneath her collar. Across the lawn, Simone stays perfectly still, eyes steady on Daniels's face, watching every flicker of uncertainty cross it. "Something wrong, officer?" she asks quietly. Daniels doesn't respond. His jaw tightens instead, the same confidence from earlier, now noticeably thinner. A second radio clipped to another officer's shoulder crackles to life. "Unit 14, hold position. Supervisor is in." The transmission cuts hard, mid-sentence, replaced by dead air. Daniels stares at the radio like it might explain itself. It doesn't. Somewhere above his pay grade, someone has already stepped in, and whatever they know, they aren't ready to say it over an open channel just yet. 8:37 p.m. Daniels squares his shoulders, voice rising to fill the silence the dead radio left behind. "You still match the description," he says, louder now, almost defensive. "Nothing's changed." "Nothing except your radio going quiet," Alexis says, calm despite the cuffs biting into her wrists. The crowd shifts. Phones that were filming from a distance edge closer. A woman near the sidewalk lowers her camera slightly, watching Daniels instead of the twins now. Simone speaks for the first time in minutes, voice steady, deliberate. "Run the name again. Slowly this time. Spell it if you have to." Daniels hesitates, radio halfway to his mouth. "Do it," Simone says, not a plea, an instruction. He keys the mic. "Dispatch, Unit 14, requesting the name check again, confirm receipt." Static answers first. Then, finally, a voice, tighter, more careful than before. "Copy, Unit 14, processing." The young officer beside Daniels shifts closer to Alexis, studying her face like he's seeing her for the first time. A murmur ripples through the onlookers, no longer whispers about the twins, now questions about Daniels, about the silence, about what exactly he's waiting to hear. Headlights swing sharp around the corner, fast, no siren. An unmarked car pulls up hard against the curb, lights off entirely. Daniels turns toward it, jaw tightening. The driver's door opens before the engine fully stops. Whoever's stepping out didn't drive across town for a routine call. Daniels straightens instinctively, radio lowering from his mouth, words caught somewhere between his last sentence and whatever's about to happen next. 8:40 p.m. The supervisor crosses the lawn fast, a folder tucked under one arm. Eyes already on Daniels. "Uncuff them," she says. "Now." Daniels blinks. "Ma'am, I was following procedure. You were investigating federal agents assigned to review your precinct." Her voice cuts flat, final. Both of them, by name. The crowd goes silent, phones still recording, no one daring to lower them now. The young officer moves fast, keys jangling as he unlocks Alexis's cuffs. She rolls her wrists once, calm, unshaken. "Special Agents Simone and Alexis Carter," the supervisor continues, reading from the folder without hesitation. "Assigned 3 weeks ago to this district's conduct review. Officer Daniels' file is part of that review." Daniels' face drains of color. "That's confirmed," she says, cutting him off. Twice. Simone rises slowly, brushing grass from her knees, saying nothing yet. Alexis stands beside her, steady, watching Daniels absorb what he's just done. On camera, in front of neighbors, in front of his own department. Mrs. Holloway lowers her phone, hand pressed briefly to her mouth. The teenager across the street keeps recording, capturing every second without blinking. The supervisor turns to Daniels, voice quieter now but no less sharp. "Badge and weapon, now." "Ma'am." "Now, Officer Daniels." His hand moves slow, reluctant, unclipping the badge from his chest. He holds it for a moment, staring at it like it might change what just happened. It doesn't. He places it in her palm. Simone finally speaks, calm as she's been all night. "You should have asked for the address first." 3 weeks later, the department releases a short statement. Officer Daniels is terminated, effective immediately. The precinct is placed under formal review, the case file bearing 2 names neither twin ever had to raise their voice to protect. Simone reads the update on her phone, porch light glowing warm above her. Alexis sits beside her, coffee in hand, quiet in a way that finally feels earned instead of forced. Across the street, a screen door creaks. Mrs. Holloway steps out, hesitating at the edge of her lawn before crossing toward them. "I owe you both an apology," she says, voice smaller than it was that night. "I judged you before I knew anything." Simone nods, no anger left to offer. "You know now." Mrs. Holloway lingers a moment longer, then nods back, turning toward home. No phone, no suspicion. Just an ordinary walk across an ordinary street. Neighbors pass differently now. A wave here, a nod there. Small, quiet corrections to something that should never have needed correcting. Alexis leans back against the porch railing, watching the same street where 4 patrol cars once boxed them in. "Feels different," she says. "It is different," Simone answers. The porch light flickers once, same as it did that night, but this time, it just feels like home. No cameras, no cuffs, no one watching from behind a curtain. Just 2 sisters, sitting on the steps they always had every right to sit on. If you believe dignity should never depend on a badge, subscribe for more stories where the truth always finds its way to the light.